So, welcome to the library instruction session for your guys' Nursing 621 evidence-based practice. So, before we get started, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Alexis Patterson, formerly Becker. My new email is alexis.patterson@briarcliff.edu, but you can also still email me at alexis.becker. So I am the university librarian and archivist here at Briarcliff. I also have my office phone number, which does ring through off hours as well. So I know that you guys have a very different schedule compared to kind of the traditional students. You guys are working as you guys are going through. So if and when you need to meet with me, uh, please note that I am very flexible and will work around your guys' schedule. So if we need to do over a lunch hour, if we need to do after working hours, please just let me know and we can get those set up. We can always meet one-on-one, kind of, virtual, quick phone call, Zoom call, Teams call. I am very flexible and I am here to help you guys as a resource. So today, what we're going to be going over is we're going to be looking first at some search strategies, going through what to think about Boolean searches, kind of how to make the research work for you. And then we're also going to be looking into our different databases. So if you guys have not been searching prior to January, EBSCO will look a little different if you guys have been doing research this past semester. You will kind of have gotten a feel, but I'll show you a few of the different tips and tricks as we go through. The final thing we will be looking at is our citations, as well as our citation manager. Unfortunately, I was not able to get the citation manager downloaded onto my device, but I was able to find some resources that will walk through. But if and when, again, you guys run into issues with the citation manager I will be showing you, give me a call. We can jump on, share screens, walk through the issues that you might be having. But I do have a handful of really good resources that will be available for you guys to really walk through, and they probably do a better job than I could do in a course like this. So, to get started, I do have a couple of questions for you guys. So if you want to unmute and just hop in. My first question is, how comfortable are you with searching? Kind of scale 1 to 10. I do research all the time. Or are you guys just going like, this is not my favorite thing to do, but I do it when I have to?
8.
You're an 8? Solid. I like 8s.
I would say about a 6 or 7.
6 or 7, perfect.
Comfortable.
You're comfortable. Because most of you have, are you guys in a doctoral or a master's program? I can't remember.
Masters.
Master's, okay.
Yeah. I'm
Yep.
pretty comfortable. It just, it's not my favorite thing to do.
I understand. Yeah, there's things that I love to research and it's really fun, but then there's times where you go, I'm sick and tired of being stuck at the same 2 or 3 places type of thing. So my next question for you guys is, where are you most often searching for academic materials? Is it library websites? Is it different databases? Is it just online databases? Google? Where do you guys go at for this?
I tend to use the Briarcliff Library, the databases on that. Try to, because I feel like I can pull up more data. And then I Google them, and then articles I can't read, I will go to the library and see if I can pull them up through that.
Perfect.
Same.
Same. Yep. Is anyone just only doing Google? And no shade on that. Silence.
When I'm in a rush, I do.
When you're in a rush, that's okay. Yeah, for my undergrads, I get a lot where they're like, "What? There's something other than Google?" You guys, awesome. I like it when we at least know a little bit about the library's website, and I'll show you a couple of different things just to make it a little bit easier for you guys. And then my final kind of question for you is, how do you search for a topic? Are you guys doing research beforehand? Are you just kind of jumping in and seeing what pops up? What is kind of your philosophy and theory as you approach searching for a topic?
Sometimes research before.
A little bit of a search before. Perfect.
I think it just depends on how much time there is available. Sometimes just jumping in and going with it, or sometimes we have a little bit more time to be able to gather a little bit more, like search, words.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that is a very big kind of shift of, is it an assignment that's due in a week, or is this a full semester or longer project? So perfect. So jumping into our first thing is a few nice little tips before we ever start searching. So first, we do want to determine the scope of the topic. So for a lot of these, you know, quick turnaround assignments, you are just kind of jumping in and figuring it out as you go. But if and when we have these longer research projects, we are going to be really thinking about all of the different ways that this could go and trying to figure out which area are we wanting to focus in on as we start our search. This is really helpful to make sure that we aren't getting overwhelmed with the amount of information, or we aren't on the opposite side, not finding anything and just getting frustrated. So, trying to figure out what's the scope, what are people kind of talking about? Is it a new topic? Is it something that's been around for ages? How are we looking at that? Next, we have to gather up a keyword list. So, determine how others are talking about your topic. So for nursing and medical, you do have kind of two types of terminology that you are going to be approaching. So first is going to be your medical, your jargon, and then the other is going to be your layman's terms. So is there any times that you'll need to pull those layman terms, or are we truly just looking at our medical terms and how we're looking at that? Then, as we have that keyword list, mix and match the keywords. Search them in different orders. So how databases work is they are very much a mathematical equation. So whatever your first word is, that's what it's going to search first, and then it's going to filter in with your other words. So switch words around, mix and match. Also, do the same searches in multiple databases to see what shows up, which is our last one. So don't just stick with your favorite one when it comes to the databases. And we all have our favorite one that we're like, we always hit really good results. I don't really want to search anywhere else. Do a quick search in the other databases. The nice thing with these is you can copy and paste and do really fast searches through each of the databases. So, and as a reminder, as we go through, if you guys have questions, just jump in, interrupt me to ask your questions. Okay, so I did want to hit on Boolean searches, so making these databases work for you. So the Boolean operators connect your search words together to either narrow or broaden your set of results. These are the and, or, and not. So one thing to note when you are typing these in is you do need to capitalize these and have them in all caps when you are searching, because that tells the database this is a Boolean word. This is not just a filler word. So Boolean operators, why are we using them? So first, it's really focusing in our search. And when it contains multiple search terms, it really helps the database figure out how it's supposed to be searching this. We also want to be able to connect our various pieces of information and find what we're looking for. So these can really be helpful as we are building our searches. When we go into the databases, you will see how you can automatically add these into your searches and make it a little bit easier so you aren't having to type out the and, the or, and the not. So looking at each of these, so the and helps narrow our search results. It tells the database that it must search all of the terms that we have put in there. It has to be present in the record. So this would be, for example, cloning and humans and ethics. So we want to look at the ethics behind human cloning. So with this, my database will start with cloning, then it will filter in to make sure all of those results have humans, And then it will filter in for all of those results to have ethics. So that's how the database is going to be thinking. I do want to note that these phrases and words might be somewhere other than the body of your text. It might be in the title, it might be in these subject headings. So do keep that in mind that it could be in a multiple different ways of where it's searching at. Do watch out though for the mysterious and. So this is where and is implied, and this is in a lot of databases. For example, Google automatically puts an and in between all of your search terms. So, for example, if my search is college students test anxiety, it is translating in the database to college and students and test and anxiety. So it's automatically plugging those in. And so your search might not be college students, it might be students prepping for college and that test anxiety. So it's going to mix and match a little bit, and depending on your search terms, and I know for certain medical, with so many medical terms having very similar or combined terms, you are going to want to make sure we are pulling those together. So do watch out for that hidden and. Now for the or operator, this is connecting two or more similar concepts. These are going to be your synonyms. This will help you broaden your results, telling the database that any of these search terms can be present, but they don't have to be present. So for example, with this, we have cloning or genetics or reproduction. This is also a great thing to look at when you are pulling both the medical terminology and the layman's terminology, or if you are doing, American versus British research of how it is said and presented. So think of different ways that it's being talked about, and you can add those in with this or modifier. Our final modifier is the not. So this is excluding words from your search. So it helps to narrow the search by telling the database to ignore concepts that might be implied but aren't actually relevant to your search. So for this example, it is cloning, not sheep. So if I'm searching for my human ethics of cloning and I keep coming up with results for Dolly, I know that I want to remove sheep from my search terms because I'm looking at the human aspect, not cloning in general. So I will pause here really quick. Do we have any questions about the Boolean operators of and, or, and not?
Actually, I do.
Yes.
With the you said the Google will
Yep.
one of the databases will automatically insert and.
Mm-hmm.
Is is it when it's inserted, is it like capitalized? How like obviously we know if we
So
didn't do it ourselves, but
yep, yeah. So it's not necessarily plugging it into your search phrase, but in its kind of back mind, it is automatically
algorithm?
adding it in. Yep, the algorithm's
Okay.
adding it in. Um, and so my next kind of set, we will be looking at how to kind of counteract that. So
Thank you.
perfect. Yes, no
Alexis, I have
problem.
a question too.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like, is using or better than and, or is it just kind of depend on what you're looking for?
Yep. So the and is going to be two kind of search terms. So if you're looking at cloning and the ethics of it, that is two very different topics that you're combining together. The
Okay.
or is going to be your synonyms. So the example I give to the undergrads is if you're doing social media, it could be social media or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. So it's adding in similar terms. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Oh no. Is that seriously saying that that is ending in 10 minutes? Okay, if we drop off of this call, we will all just jump back in. Does that work for everyone? Oh, this is going to be fun. Okay. So for the search order, Databases need to follow the commands you type in. Um, they're going to recognize and as that primary operator. But if you're using kind of the and or, it's going to combine it. So the example is if we had ethics and cloning or reproductive techniques, it's going to put the cloning reproductive techniques in a parentheses. So it's saying, think of this together, but we're adding in the ethics on the side. So as you kind of go through, the database will automatically work this through. It's going to start at the beginning and work its way through. So again, think of it as a math equation as we go through. So quotations and parentheses. So use your quotation marks around a phrase to search for that exact phrase. So this is making sure it's not adding in that and in the middle. So quotations indicate that you want to search the exact phrase in the exact order with the exact spelling. So that is kind of the three things you have to think of when you're using quotation marks around a phrase is my spelling correct? And is it in the order I want it to be in? So the parentheses help to combine search terms. Again, it's often with the or operator, and it is telling the database, think of these phrases as one search term. So the Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or TikTok is one, not four different ones. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. So I did want to throw in truncation really quick. So this is also called stemming, and it's a technique that broadens your search terms to include various word endings or spellings. So the truncation, you're entering the root of the word and then putting the truncation symbol at the end. So the database will return different results. And I will note that the truncation symbol does sometimes change from database to database, but a lot of times it is going to be the asterisk star. So for example, if you are looking at the root word child, with the truncation at the end, it's going to look at child, child's, children, children's, childhood, anything that has child as that first root word. Same thing with genetic. We also have wildcards. It's very similar to truncation, but this will substitute a symbol for a letter of a word. So this is useful when the word is spelled in different ways, but still has the same meaning. For example, women or woman, color and color of adding in the U. So thinking of British ways of spelling that. If you keep, struggling with it, you can always do that. Another way to do it, if you know the two spellings that usually will come up with it, you can just plug both of those in and say color or color with the U instead of doing the wild card. If and when you guys are working with wildcards, do reach out to me. I am more than happy to walk you guys through that since each of the databases are a little bit different with these wildcards. Questions on any of those? Okay, so we are going to jump off of the PowerPoint and I want to show you guys our databases. So let me see where I lost my mouse. There we go. Okay, so jumping over to the library's website. If you guys have not made it to the library's website yet, the easiest way to find the library's website is to Google Briarcliff Library. So on the library search results, what we are looking for is this libguides. So that's going to be the easiest way to originally find our databases. Once you find the database or the library, please just favorite that so it's easier to get to. Okay, so walking through a couple of things here. So first we have our homepage. So here we do have a handful of different things to kind of look at. First is going to be, I want to show you guys our library guides, because I did create a library guide for your class. So if you click into library guides and then go over to course guides, underneath we do have nursing 621. So this is going to walk through a lot of the materials I have talked about today. So the databases tab is going to be some quick links to our databases, as well as a link over to our full list. Under search strategies, we talk about the Boolean operators, quotations, parentheses, truncations, and wildcards. And then I also have some examples down below as well that you guys can look at. Under how-to videos, I do have our nursing databases. So just kind of a quick walkthrough on how to search nursing databases. Our interlibrary loans video, I am actually editing our new version of this video, so that hopefully, fingers crossed, is up and ready to go today. But I will click into our form just so you guys can see that a little bit. And I also have accessing resources off campus. So since you guys are off campus, you do need to log in through the Easy Proxy. If you guys have problems logging in, please reach out to me and I am more than happy to walk you guys through that. Sometimes it is a username password issue. Sometimes we do need to go to IT and have them help us reset some passwords. We do have a tab for APA citations. So this kind of walks through different formatting styles. Also, there are some quick links. The APA Style Guide is a great website that actually is basically it's the publication manual, the online version of it. So very helpful, free for you guys to use. It's a great secondary resource. And it also correlates perfectly with the publication manual and tells you where the publication manual you can find this information at. And then finally is our citation managers. And we do have a handful of citation managers. I'm going to recommend you guys use Zotero. This is a free, easy to use. It works on Windows, Macs, and Linux systems. And at the end, we will kind of walk through some of these as well. Okay, I do see that we have about a minute 40 that, and then it'll, I believe, going to kick us off because, of course, I don't have a full long-term Zoom. So when it kicks us off, if we all just want to re-log in, I will start re-recording. If that works for everyone really quick. I do need to do something really quick here. I need to grab a screenshot of who we have on Wick, just so I know. Lost my mouse. Don't mind. Okay. Just so I have that list there. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so back at our home page. So when we're going through our searches, we do have the everything search box. I am going to recommend that you don't do your basic searches through the everything search box just because it's pulling so much information. Though the everything search box is really great for if you are searching a very specific article title or book title. This is going to pull everything from every library around the world. So it is just kind of overwhelming. But if you find an article online and you want to see if our website and library has it, plug in, copy and paste the journal or the article title into the everything search box and see if we have it. So as I mentioned before, that everything search box, really great for some things, but it is pulling just a lot of information. So if you have a very specific thing you are looking for, great place to look. I would say steer away from it if you are just starting your research into it. So where you'll want to go is the databases quick link. So this is the globe with the arrow. So if we click into our databases, you will see that the library has 50 databases available for us to use. But if you go to the all subjects drop-down menu and scroll down to nursing, it's going to limit and kind of focus in on the ones that are going to be most useful to you. So we're going to look at a handful of these to get you guys kind of comfortable of seeing what they look like. If you guys weren't searching this past semester and only searched previously, the EBSCO-based databases did change in January. So that is a little bit different of a look. The good news is it did make it a little bit easier for some of our limiters. So that is really helpful. It's a upside downside of this. So the first database we will look at is CINAHL Plus. So this is an EBSCO hosted database. As this pops on, there we go. So all of the EBSCO will now look like this. So as we go through, and for our example, we're just going to look at nursing and ethics. We type in our first term, ethics in our second. I always kind of leave these as the all field. So it's pulling from everything. So your search term is going to be somewhere. It's not only limiting to a title, a subject, the body, things like that. We do have our drop-down menu to change our Boolean. So that's going to automatically stick that Boolean in. Now, if we were looking at nursing home ethics, we can leave it here. It would kind of flip it around. So some of it might be like care homes. Also, some might be home nursing. So where you are traveling to someone's home. So to say nursing home, we can plug some quotation marks around it, and it's going to search that phrase. Does that kind of make sense on the quotation marks, the ands, the ors, all of that good stuff? Awesome. I am going to take away my quotation marks and home just to have a nice wide limiter. Ah, I just hit something. There we go. That's me. Okay. Back. Technology is not our friend today, but that's okay. So with the new EBSCO layout, the nice thing is all of our limiters are both here on the advanced search page as well as in our search results. So we can add in full text, we can add in peer reviewed. One thing to note with full text is it's only going to show what the library has access to automatically. So what you can view and see today. Now, if you are doing a longer research project, you'll probably want to leave that one unclicked to see what other libraries have. So we can always do an interlibrary loan request through this system. So I am going to today click full text. I'm also going to do peer reviewed. 9 times out of 10, you guys will need peer review. So it's nice and easy just to have it right here. Then we can hit search. So the biggest difference of, I think, the EBSCO's new look is the limiters and filters. So the previous version of this database, all of the filters and limiters were located on the left-hand side of the screen. You could just click through, change things. It was really great and wonderful. Now the filters are located underneath. So if you click the all filters, it will pull up all of these, but the full text, the peer review are always going to be kind of listed underneath. If you need a publication date, it gives kind of 3 automatic ones. So the past 12 months, the past 5 years, and the past 10 years. But we do have the custom range. So you can plug in specific dates, specific months. You can just plug in years, which is helpful. This is really great, especially if you are looking at historic of going, what were they doing back in the 70s in the Wild West compared to today where I like to think a little bit more civilized with medicine, but so you can plug those in, play around with that. With the timeline, it only provides those 3 in the quick drop down. So that is something that's a little frustrating when you're trying to find it. But again, that all filters, when we plug in, and I am going to plug in past 5 years, hit apply, and that redoes your search results. So beyond that, it is very similar to what it looked like before. It's just a little bit cleaner, updated look, which is nice. So when we find an article of interest, I do want to point out, oh, yep, all of these will have. So some of them will have access options so you can do the PDF, or it will say PDF full text download. So if we click onto the
Are we
title,
supposed to be seeing your screen?
oh, is that not showing?
I can't see it.
Oh no. Is
I
that
could
not
see it.
Oh,
I have it
you're
on
seeing
mine.
it? Okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
I can see it.
How do I do that? Because I can't see your screen.
Hmm. Are you just seeing people?
Just you.
Just me.
Yeah.
Um, in there should be like a view. I'm trying to think on your end how that looks. Let me,
If you click on like click on her like face in the right upper hand corner, there's like three little dots. You should be able to, oh, now mine doesn't have it. That's how I got you. It said like
okay.
do a pop out.
Yeah, here, let me pause. Okay. Um, I'm trying to think of where, let me just reshare and see if that helps. Oh, always fun.
I
Okay,
had to
now
double check
now are
this.
you
There it
seeing?
is. Now,
Okay,
yep, now I have it. Yep.
perfect. Okay. Again, technology, it's the best today. Okay, so if we find an article that we're like, yes, let's look at this, if you click onto the title, this will open up the full record. So this is going to walk you through all of kind of the elements of your article, again, your title, where it's published, your researchers. It's also listed down below, as well as your subjects. So these are all hyperlinked, so you can redo a search by just clicking into some of these subjects, which is really nice. Up top, we also have, again, our access and download. I always recommend downloading and saving to your device versus creating a like My EBSCO account, because we always have issues when we do those My EBSCO accounts. So when you find an article, download, save it to your device, your OneDrive, wherever you want to keep that. It'll be the easiest way to save your stuff. Also, if you need to cite, you can hit the cite button up here. It's a little quotation mark, and select your citation style. It will provide a citation. Always, though, double check these. They get a little funky sometimes. Usually, it's going to be they're adding in a lot of weird things with the author. So, like the your credentials are added in. Sometimes the title of the article is in like all caps. So do just kind of look through and make sure everything is looking correct if you're using your citations this way. But it's a great way to just jumpstart your citation. Okay, any questions on this database? Makes sense, kind of walks through all of that. Okay, so back to my database list. That's just a weird floating thing. I did want to point out Cochrane Library quick. So this is hit or miss on what we're finding. It is going to look a lot different. So if we're just doing nursing ethics, so we do have our advanced search and our kind of just browse. Oop, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Now we're searching. It is going to be a little bit different. You can filter by date, your topics, kind of types of review. Inside the article, when you click into it, it's going to give your backgrounds, objectives. So it's going to give your full text. We do have that download PDF, as well as our abstracts, picos, all of those good things, kind of breaking it down. So this is another database, very pretty rudimentary on the searching style of you just plug in and go for it. With the advanced search, it really is very simplistic. A few search limiters here, and we can add in some more as we go down. So another database just to kind of highlight and point out as you guys are finding things in the different databases. Okay. On our list, let's see what next I have I wanted to show you. For Health Source, we do have two versions. So the consumer and the nursing academic. The consumer is going to be much more of the layman's terms. It's going to be for me as a non-medical person, I have questions, I'm going to search really quick. It's not going to pull a lot of your academic peer reviewed. Those will be in the nursing academic edition. So, like CINAHL, this is going to be an EBSCO hosted. So it runs exactly the same. And I'm going to show you a little bit different here. So before we had added in our limiters here, but I do want to show you what that looks like if we just do a basic search and then add in our limiters. So up here on the top, we have our full text, peer reviewed, and we can add in our date. So this makes it very simple to click and go through. It's a lot easier than our previous one, which is nice, where some of them were on the home screen, some of them weren't. You had to search and find. So the nice thing is now all of our EBSCO databases look exactly the same. Questions on this? Perfect. Okay. So Medline should also be EBSCO based. PubMed. So PubMed is going to be hosted through National Library of Medicine. So you can kind of find these in two different locations. A lot of times when I am helping look at citations and things like that, if you Google and it's through the NIH, it comes up on your Google search. So that is really nice. So we do have our basic search box or the advanced search box. We can, oh, is it going to do that? It's going to do weird things. Okay. So with this, so if it's just a basic search box, this is when you will need to physically type in the and have that in the all caps. So it's nursing and ethics when we are searching. So for this, again, very basic, straightforward. Also, I will note this saves whatever filters you added in previously. So I was doing a couple of videos before. You can always clear your applied filters just to see everything. That is something to note. So publication, you can pick your custom range or the specific years they give. The free full text and full text are usually going to be the ones you want to click so that you can actually see what it is. It's not just the abstract. But if you're finding something, you're like, I want to see if I can get the full article, you can always copy and paste that journal title. So as you go through, if you find something that is of interest, again, click on that title. You can find where that full text link is going to be at. You can also do your citations. Make sure you change your format. This looks, for the most part, like it is correct in the correct citation, but again, double check your citations. Things get wonky sometimes. So PubMed, you guys probably are in here quite often, so this should be fairly straightforward for you. Okay, so any questions on our databases? What we found, all of that good stuff makes sense for the most part? Perfect. Okay. So I will ask you guys as we're over here on our nursing guide, do you need any assistance with the citations or are you guys feeling pretty solid about it? Pretty good? Okay, perfect. So I won't hit too much into that, but please do note I'm really good at my APA citation. So if you guys are running into issues, reach out to me. I teach multiple courses on this, so I am here to help walk you through. If you have questions, I am more than happy to assist with that. So our last thing we are going to look at is our citation manager. So as I mentioned before, Zotero is the one that I'm going to be recommending for you guys. But if you guys are using other kind of free open source, Mendeley is the other one that a lot of other libraries and systems use. So those are our two free to use sources. We also have EndNote. This is a paid subscription citation manager. Has its upsides, has its downsides. It is expensive though. So for kind of your just easy, quick and dirty Zotero works great. It's very user friendly from the couple of times I've used it. A lot of times I'm just helping you guys assist with it. Um, and unfortunately, I was not able to get my access approved to download this through my system, but I will have that hopefully today. Um, so I can help you guys when you run into issues. So in Zotero, um, the website, very simplistic. When you click download, it will bring you to this screen. And this is going to automatically pull whatever device you are using. It's going to show which one you need to download. So this download is for the actual kind of like software that you have on your home screen. Then we have our web connector. So I am on Chrome right now, so it's going to show me the plugin add-in there. So this is really helpful when you're going through your database. You're on an article, you go, yes, I want to download this to my citation manager. You can click the plugin, which will be up at your top, and it will automatically pull that citation, which is really nice. So this is where I got stuck on my end. But I did find some nice pieces of information. So first is this nice how-to video on Zotero. So it is the newest kind of updated version. So Zotero 7. He walks through really wonderfully the different features. It's about a 20-minute video. So it is a little bit longer. But as you guys are using it, it talks about how to use it in Word, how to use it in a Google Docs if that's what you guys are using. Goes through how to do a quick ad, walking from I'm plugging things in, I'm searching just the DOI number, how to pull it from a website or the online databases, all of that. It also talks about the kind of ups and downs of saving it to the document to Zotero itself versus linking it to just your device. I also have some quick links. So our start guide, using the plugin, as well as that's for the Word documents and then for Google Docs. So I did want to give you guys those pieces of information. One last thing to note when you are setting up your Zotero account is, so you're going to download the browser connector, but then create a Zotero account so you can jump between different devices if needed. And or if you spill coffee on your computer and you need a new computer, you can still log in and access your Zotero library. So questions on that to start with?
For Zotero,
Yeah.
after we have the app, we have it set up, we start our folder. How do we share it with other people within our group? For
That's a
the
great question.
and we can address that later because it's more specific. That's fine. I don't want to take class time. I can always look up Google.
That's a great one. So it says, looks like you would be creating a shared group on Zotero.org. So you'll all need a Zotero account and then be invited to the group. So
Okay.
when we get that, as you guys are kind of going through, hopefully at that point, I also have my Zotero account. And we will walk through screen share. That's really, in theory, easy answer for me to find. But I can,
There's a different website for groups. Okay, I didn't see that. Sorry, I got
okay,
it
perfect.
now.
No, yeah. If you guys, because that's something I will add on to our guide, as well as I'll create a Zotero guide just to kind of help with some of that. I did want to pull up. That's not the one I needed. There we go. I hate when this does this to me. Okay. So I did find a nice little guide. So kind of walking us through a few things, and I can post again some of these things as well. This is just kind of a quick walkthrough of Zotero's how to use it, where to find it. When you start using it, it really is quite self-explanatory, kind of going through, which is nice. It's not overly complicated, which I appreciate and approve of. Also, there is a nice guide, and I will reach out to University of New Mexico's library to see if we can kind of go through and use this. But this walks through kind of, again, how to download. It does also kind of look at what that connector looks like. The connector for your plugin usually is that little Z, which is nice. Registering for your free account. When you go in, you're going to sync your database and library. Kind of walks through how to cite. It's very nice, and that how-to video really does walk through it very nicely of how to plug in, how to as you're typing in, adding in your citation at the end. It's making sure that you kind of know what you need as you're going through. So I like to kind of find the really good YouTube videos that explain it much better than I can in an online class, just because it's you can go back, you can reference, you can see what are they doing, what are they not doing. I will note that as you guys are going through, if you are searching on YouTube for other videos, do make sure that it is a newer video. So some of the Zotero ones are like 5, 6 years old. Multiple versions have happened since then, and sometimes the interface does change a little bit. Okay, let me see what else. I keep losing my mouse. That's my problem here. There we go. There we go. We're just going to reshare this. Okay, so clicking through, we talked about citations, the basics, things to remember. Okay, so for our citation manager, I did want to put up my contact information one more time, just so you guys have it. So again, Alexis.Patterson or Alexis.Becker, both of those will come to me. You can always also just email the library. Those come to me as well. We just, get them to who they need to go to. Any questions that I haven't touched on, and I realized I did not show you guys interlibrary loan. But other than that, any questions that you guys have right now? Mostly makes sense. Awesome.
Yes.
It's the it's a crapshoot sometimes on how good I'm doing this. Okay. Ooh, this one. Okay. There we go. Okay. So I did want to point out the um interlibrary lump. That's the word I'm looking for. So when you guys are searching, so when you find something, you go, I don't have access to it. I would like to have access to it. If you go to the library's homepage under services, if then you click interlibrary loan, this will pull up our document on interlibrary loans. So very quick and easy form to fill out. If you click begin, please plug in your first and last name as well as your Briarcliff email. Then you will select your request type. So most of the time you guys are going to be requesting articles. So try to get as much information as you can. So the article title, the authors and the editors, the journal title. So that's the publication name. So that's the Journal of Medicine, not the long article title. Publication date, volume and issue number, as well as your page range. So try to get as much of that information in as possible. When you have filled all of that in, when you fill it all in, this will say submit, and it will plug in the request. You will get an email that is confirmation of thank you for submitting an interlibrary loan request. It will also show what you filled in on the form. So that email will come to you. If you have questions on filling in the form, or like you're running into issues, I will be updating that video. So hopefully I can get that finished edited today. But then also just reach out to me. I am, again, more than happy to help you guys as we go through. So that one is pretty simplistic. Hopefully makes sense. Most of it's just finding that information as you go through. So questions on that?